I have another streaming part. Um, I'm going to introduce myself again because I have another video running. Hello and welcome again to another video of a Beneficiary Sovereign Court. And I am presiding GA-NK-DR Nantume KabandaBenes D.PSc. And so today, another video that it depends where you are. It could be another day, like yesterday or a few hours ago if you're still in my time zone. We reviewing how the court system of the outside company that calls itself the United States government, which is a corporation that runs slavery in America. Most people don't know. And most likely you are a slave, unfortunately, but you don't know. So they not supposed to be on the soil of United States of America, the country, but they have forced themselves in many years, more than decades, centuries now, uh, through the Crown in Britain and the Vatican in Italy, Rome, um, so that they can, and other countries that they are using, most likely anybody with fair skin, they are much more employed with this company to enslave other, humanities, especially from the continent of Africa and other countries that have people that they can sell easily and, you know, with the ignorance that goes on. So, because of all the reasons why people decide to sell their own people, not telling them the truth. Now, here at the Beneficiary and Sovereign Court, with me presiding, I have taken it on, literally, to tell you the truth because we are suffering so much. We are being killed every day. On the record, who was my husband was killed. But to talk about it when every day we are being chased out of our homes, out of our, they say we are giving you a job, but they take the money through the taxes off your check before you even think about it, to take a penny from it. After you take the remainder, you have to pay taxes on food, clothing, and sometimes they take medical if you don't get their medical, and you get their medical because you agree to be their slave, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, but most of the time because you cannot afford to pay the high cost in their medical systems. And most people are in their medical systems believing that it works, that they will be getting better, but they don't, and most people's eyes are waking up these days. That being said, let me first get this on the record. So today, having had them wanting to contract me or contract my family to give up our home, our real property that we own and stay in, where I'm talking from right now, and anybody who wanna help them fight me or my family, bring it on. So we because we know people have games out there. So they contracted us through a fake name that looks like my name, and they, or some parts of it look like my name, and they want us to agree to give them our real property. Mind you, they have stolen some parts of it. They have a lot of keys and, documents that they have stolen. And to get those documents, they have been fighting us and arresting us, and they were not telling us why they were doing that. And at the end of everything, we get to collect enough data to find out what they have been doing and why they have been doing it. And so, that being said, we're still, needing to get our documents from them, because a lot of people who have companies as surveyors or people who want to build to help us renovate the place or rebuild it, to maintain it nicely, if we want to contract other people or to ask other people to help us make it nicely. Some have licenses from the government, and it's the government stealing from us. Now, the government that comprises of some of these departments, as I'm going to mention, the mayor, who is the top person, in the city where we are sitting, who asked us to vote for him to come back for like maybe the fifth time, even though his family and everybody else is killing people in the neighborhood, but they're here. So you can what we are dealing with. We didn't know before, otherwise we wouldn't have been here to this day. Now, the mayor, the governor, or the mayor and the police, because they are next to each other in the same town, the local police, then, and of course, the nearby police in other towns help them, or they work together, but in a more quiet way. Somebody sometimes might think they are two different, entities, but they are the same. Then the fire department and the ambulances and the hospitals and the post office and as I said, the governor and the attorney generals, of the state and the federal. So everything, oh, the IRS, the Department of Treasury. So they are all one. So when you think that you are going to go, skip one and go to the other, or maybe another will hear, your point of view or your concern, they actually know each other and they don't tell you that. So what happened here? They, after gathering some enough information, so we really wanted to talk to them, and because every time we are trying to clean or do something on our property, they come and do it again, or they put their they encroach on the property, or they dump their trash on the property to claim that they own it, or to let everybody know that they own it. And of course, when they put something that is so big, like an SUV, old, or an armored car, old armored car, I have a video that I took, these pictures or videos. You cannot just go and pick it up and throw it away. So they use, tow trucks to bring them, or they're even drivable, and they put them on the property to encumber on it, like to claim possession of it, because they know we are not just going to pick it up as a leaf and throw it away. Um, so now they called us to talk with a fake name. They formulate a name, and they want called a straw man, for those who don't know. And if you haven't found out, these are the books that can tell you a little bit of what that is. For those who don't know, find out what this is. They are Google up strawman or buy them online. Most likely you'll find them online. straw man or know your straw man. They are called. Let me see. Oh no, meet your straw man. Excuse me. So this one is meet your straw man. Meet your straw man. Okay. So it's not just my words. So when they formulate that name, I'm gonna show you. Let me even show you right now because you might think that this is a joke that we are living, especially people who don't think they're experiencing. Even if you're in another country, you are experiencing it, but you don't know. So, meet your straw man. This is the straw man they want me to meet. There is a name here that looks like one of the pieces that are in my name. So, they and here this one is also a straw man. So they write up a fake name and they want me or somebody in my family to agree that that's us. Oh, I didn't show this side. Um, so this is the straw man somewhere here, and there is a straw man they wanted me to meet and agree to it. So those names are kind of what my names are partially, and they want me to say yes. Once I say yes, this is a contract because this is a government, it's from their company, the government company. See, this is my government where I'm sitting. Everybody has a government. This is my government. So they have their company also a government. So this is the government of USA, a department of it called Superior Court. Superior Court it is. So they and this is my government. I'm seated in my government. So unless when I invite somebody to come here, they shouldn't. But if I want to speak to somebody, I can invite them in my government and they come and talk to me. So they know we are not going willingly to go into their offices and speak to them or give up our property or liabilities because they can repossess your car even when you're still making payments because actually that's not a liability, but that's another story. These books will help you. Now, another one has something called UCC. UCC, it accompanies the other one and you get to have a better knowledge of what it is that are being talked about. The UCC connection. Also, you'll find it next to Meet Your Strawman when you're looking to buy the Meet Your Strawman. Um, so when you're contracted, they want you to agree, and so a contract is entered, and they can steal everything you have. That being said, so again, when they contracted us the first time, they refused to acknowledge my true name when they asked me to introduce myself um, in the court. And most likely we were not on the record. For those who know the court systems, how they work, being on the record and not being on the record are two different things and they mean different and you could be wasting your time when you're not on the record, but still it's not a full waste of time because when you're on the record, they limit you. They want you to say yes or no because you are a commodity to them. You're not supposed to have any brains, even though you have a head. You're not supposed to see, even though you have eyes, because a straw man is a dead entity. So they want you to act like a dead person and still have you talk and agree to things. I don't know how that works. Me and you tell me. That being said, so when I didn't agree, they yelled at me, they tormented me, they called me names and told me I have to do what they say. And they do it in a very, very systematic way, a very, well put together way. Um, and they yell and they intimidate and they, uh, send fear your way. They speak words with so much fear to instill in your heart so you can go out of control or something. And that's where they send their police to somebody's house and they say, pick them up because they believe that they are commodities. So they can send their other department, the police, and pick them up. Now, they do that to a certain level of knowledge of who you are. When you tell them that you're not a straw man, they don't want to hear it because you've just busted their bubbles or busted their bubble. Now, that ended where it ended at the note where they wouldn't listen. Oh no, they wouldn't let me talk. Actually, they wouldn't. The way it ended because they did. It was almost the same way like it happened the second time. So I'm trying to give you the difference. That ended very quick because they were talking over me. As I was talking, they were talking so much over me, and they were saying things in a way that I should they should be on the record, I think, when I'm still on the screen because it was virtual. That way it means that I've entered the contract. They have so many tricks under their sleeves. One trick, when somebody tells you, you understand? They're asking you to be smaller than what you are, to be underneath them, to be underneath their feet, spiritually, mind wise, psychologically. Okay? Take note of that. So that's one trick they use, but we don't know. We think, you know, understand is a basic word. No, it's not a basic word. Okay, so we are educating our community, and we have to. Most of us don't, use so much money to go pick up slaveries that they lie to people that they have educated them by systematic control and training and programming them. Our colleges actually better look for sovereign and beneficiary or sovereign, basically, colleges or godly colleges, so you can get the truth. Just saying, give you some heads up. Now the second one is this one they have sent. Before they sent this one, so we asked them if they would have a human to human talk, and they said, okay, pay us $200 so you can have a human to human talk. Well, we say, you know what? See, we see how true that could be. So we paid them money. When we paid the money, they say, you're paying the money. They didn't say, but they say, put down the name, treasury. That's where you're sending the money. So, excuse me, the money doesn't go only to the police or the court or an individual. It goes to the entity called the Treasury Department of their company, the U.S. government, either in the state or federal or both. They know how to divide it. I don't know what happens after that. So that tells you, and I don't have a piece to show you because we have a receipt of a check where it shows the name how we wrote the check to keep a receipt. That's why sometimes old-fashioned stuff help you a lot to keep your receipts, to keep records. It's important. So the Treasury took the money on behalf of the court, of the city of Carteret, of on behalf of their lawyers, of the mayor, of the police, of everybody involved, the superior court It's the Treasury that takes the money, and that's IRS, if you don't know. So after that happened, what they got back after we did that, they very quickly sent something back to say that the first contract they sent, they want to have a contract called the trial. Where is it? Yeah, they called it the trial. So they say, we want to try you. But the way they do it, they call us tenants because they believe we are strong men and we are commodities in their facility or in their storage in a warehouse where they have stored us, and so they want us to go to another place and pay them money too, but we should move out of here because they need to have this place. Like somebody who believes they are entitled to a slave's property, whether it's their offsprings or their house or their land or their soil or their crops. So they believe we are that. We don't we don't have any rights to own what we bought, what we worked for legally. Now, when they did that, when they sent that, there are three things I want you to see, or one thing I've shown you, but the second thing or the third thing, because I've shown you the trial notice, so they are trying us. They have all kind of calling, derogatives to intimidate somebody. So, they sent this on the first, and that was a Thursday. So on that Thursday, which is last week, and I wanted to record this real quick because we are still on the same day, just before midnight, so that we have a better record of this. Everybody can know exactly what's going on. I know people don't pay attention to details, but that's where they have you under their sleeves. So on the third day, or on the third, which is a day after, the notice reached us, and that is a Saturday, which is a weekend, and we got this in the evening. So after we got that, they say on the 5th, they wrote it. This is our records, we put them down, but this, and to prove these are our records, as you can see, handwritten, but here's the proof when they sent it on the envelope. As you can see, it is the first when they stamped and sent it. It's stamped on the 1st of December. So it is sent on the 1st of December, right below my nail. And so it reached on the 3rd. As you can see, we said it reached on the 3rd. As soon as it reached, we put this note down and then this here. But then they want the trial to happen on the 5th, which is another day in between after that, which is a Monday. But in between is a Sunday, and it's still the same weekend. Well, they came like 4 pages, 4 to 5 pages. They say, this is just the front part, they say that if you have any evidence, if you claim to be this person and you want this to go on and you agreed with the contract today asking you to take part of or to be a part of or to agree and enter in and do business with them, they say, okay, show us your evidence. So, but the evidence, they want it in 2 days time. Send it 2 days at least before the court starts. Now, if these are sent 2 days apart and on the weekend time, how is someone going to send the evidence if they even agree? Well, benefit of a doubt, they ask if you want to postpone this, send it because you have to be on top of everything and read. That's why you have to study law. Like every subject a human has to be aware. So yes, to be intelligent, it doesn't come just like that. You have it. God is it's God given, but you have to accentuate it. You have uh, to really, bring it forth. Like you have to to bring forth your talent when you have it. At least, because people who are naturally talented, you do things right, really right and correct. So the people who go to school when they are not, or in the corporate schools, because they are corporates, apart from a few privates, but still most of them they work under the corporates because the corporates, these big governments, they have claimed themselves to be the owners of humans and their assets and liabilities, or whatever their positions are. So if you're starting a business, if you're not aware, you have to register with them because they'll block your clients off to stop you from helping other people or making money when you do not, when you don't file with them, when you don't agree to give them a portion of your earnings with the client. That being said, so you have to be knowledgeable of certain things. You have to learn the enemy's, tricks. As Jesus said, you have to know that Satan distracts. He, Satan is the father of lies, and Satan, since he's the father of lies, every father that means has, you know, children and kids. Humans, of course, they have offspring, but Satan have kids and children. That's why your children are called kids and your offspring, sorry, are called children and kids. All right, they're about to be called kittens if on and cubs if you're not careful. You never know what they call them out there. After all, they call them the N word and the F this and the, entity and strawman. What else is left? Now, once you know just enough by God's grace, you have to face them. So when we face them with this, they wouldn't even let I was speaking. I represented the family, but they wouldn't let me speak by introducing myself. They wouldn't let me introduce. I didn't even get to speak what, if anything, but I wasn't really negotiating anything anyway. So I had to introduce myself first and then ask them if they would agree, having known who I am, because they have the wrong person, although it is fraud for someone to fake a name and ask them to enter contracts. Now here is a juicy part, the juicy part. They are the people who tell you that when you catch fraud or a fraudulent person, call them, call the police. They say, let me ask you, who is the perpetrator right now? The government, the superior court, the judge, the mayor, the governor, attorney general, the police that you're supposed to call on. But they are the ones who have committed fraud to steal our real property, air, land, and soil. They have the keys. They cannot say they didn't steal it. It's in their names. I don't have the paperwork very close to me, but we'll get there as needed because we are still going on with this. We are seeing which direction they want to go because they stopped me from talking, introducing myself, who I am, and they shut off the audio Even even the video, even if the video would have been on, it wasn't on, but it was unnecessary. And so they, if the audio is not on, then you cannot hear, they cannot hear me, and so there is no communication. So they cut off the communication, but they were continuing to talk because they want to forcefully still ask me or push me into a contract. But I had to leave because, as a normal human being with sense by God's grace, you do not stand there when somebody is tormenting you, is continuing to tell you that I want to steal your past, I want to steal your property, I want to steal what belongs to you. Why would you continue listening to them? After all, they didn't tie your legs, they didn't tie your arms, they didn't tie your eyes. I mean, at least physically, they are not tying you anything. Even spiritually, they are not. So, best thing to do is to let them continue talking to themselves, and I had to go because they blocked me. So, audio, video, we were not communicating, and video is nothing if there is no audio. So, I kept forcing myself. You can see a video on Instagram, and hopefully, it's on Facebook, and hopefully, YouTube. It might be there, it might not be there, but you will find it on our Facebook, on my Facebook, or on Instagram, definitely. But I realized that these social media platforms, when you talk about some parts or a word or something that triggers their brains too, or emotions, they will stop the video from uploading or being aired. So certain things are being cut out to videos were cut out. So we're going to lose some information that had to follow in sequence so that America, you can know where you are. You work so hard. People work so hard. Not only in America, entire world. People work so hard, but they are being stolen from by their governments. The governments are stealing from their own people. After they steal from you, tangible stuff or things that are simple that you could work for and replace them by God's grace when you can, then they start taking. Of course, when somebody steals something that belongs to you, they have infringed on your rights already. But at least it's mild, not as bad as when they touch your actual physical or more of your mental faculties or spiritual or psychological, so you still think, okay, if they took just a chair, I will replace. It's bad. That one little thing, they means they have started. So they're gonna come. After that, they'll steal your life. They steal your livelihood. They steal your psychology. That's why they say now, these days, that black people have a mental problem. They have a mental disease because they have squished people to the limit, that people are, they expect people to be in a state of mind that is inconsistent. And that way, they can say, look, if you can forget that you had to be here and you didn't come, then there is something wrong. And so they can manipulate. Or if you can lose your house because you didn't fight for it, so that means you're mentally not okay. They say because we stole from you, you are incompetent. You are mentally ill. You're disturbed. You're stupid. You need medication. You need this. So a lot of black people keep walking around these days claiming that they have a mental disease. And you wonder why? Well, some could be paid, and they earn a living out of exploiting others. We have house people, um, house annual, you know, whatever this means. Listen, there is nobody that has a mental illness. I've said that before. I have a video somewhere, at least on YouTube, where I say nobody has a mental illness. Nobody. But after somebody treats you a certain way, they can claim you being their property and they can put anything on you and say you are what they want you to be. That's why they say black people are black people, minorities are minorities, and also they say you have to come to us to give you bread and cheese. But to give it to you, you have to agree that you are a minority, you are a black or African American. Why can somebody just be an American? Call it a day. Everybody is American, but you have to identify. I don't care about other people who agree to be called this and the other, but why do we, I'm gonna, talk about my own household. Why do you have to call me, this? But guess what? I put myself in that position. So I want my people to get it of the same color that you agree to be called what you wanna be, what they call you. When they say that and they say we're gonna give you bread and cheese, you're just like, the brothers in the Bible, one who exchanged his rights, birthrights, for a bowl of soup. Jacob and Esau, remind me if I say the wrong name, but I believe one was Jacob. So I'm telling you, do not exchange your life for a bowl of soup. These days, we can do better. Now we are talking about we buy black. And I speak openly because I'm a free person. One can say, where do I get that power? Because it's God given. So I buy black because they are better products, because I feel comfortable. I know who makes them. I know how they work, what they might have, the ingredients they might have used in a particular product or byproducts they might have used. So I feel comfortable to buy black. So don't tell me that I have to deal with another company. And really, I don't have to. Many banks, many phone companies, uh, you know, buy black. And nowadays, thanks to some companies that are agreeing for people to buy black, because before you wouldn't even buy, half of what you need because the product is not good. It doesn't meet your standards. But now, if I'm going to buy, a bread and it's you know, a banana bread. I know what went into, or a peach cobbler. I know what went in there. Whoever made it, I know what they put in there and how. It might be tasting exactly like the one I would have made in my kitchen. So why would you tell me that I have to buy the peach cobbler from neighbor down, in the other town who, you know, has never been to the south or into in a family that most likely grew up making peach cobblers and they just want to make business, so they make it anyhow and throw it, on the pastry shelf and lie to people this is a peach cobbler. Now anyway, it's up to me to determine that that's true or not. So that being said, is this true? Is this the government of US that you need to work with? You don't have to. You don't have to register your car. You don't have to put a license plate on your car. You don't have to have a driver's license. You don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to even pay the bills you're paying. Everything is a fake. You might ask, what am I talking about? I can finish everything today. Do yourself a favor, buy yourself one of these. Listen, I could have sold you this information the way they are selling it to us, but so many of us are sharing it freely because this is a war. If somebody is stealing our real property, where I'm seated right now, where am I going to go? And the same people who are stealing are the ones who say, no, record it with us. We will safeguard it. But whom are they safeguarding it from? Me or my relatives? Because they are not my relatives. So how can I believe them? They are not God. How can I trust them? People, wake up. Wake up. Hmm? Jesus is good to us with the grace that he brought to us. I don't want to make this any longer than it is, but we're to fight our rights to stay the way God has made them for us. So, as they think that we are weak people when we talk God, because they believe Satan their father, we're going to believe Jehovah our father, the creator who created this. Now, if he has another name, that I will get to know. But right now, I know that it's Jehovah. I know some people don't believe and they're being confused in so many ways. But I'll tell you this, until you know directly from him, then you know. When you don't know directly from him, you don't know. And I'm sorry that you don't know yet, although the grace is for everybody. That's what Jesus says. Grace is for everybody to know. So find somebody to teach you something or two, or research. Do your work. You're not here to just be a straw man, which is a slave, no, a dead entity of a slave person. They say originally we were not. It wasn't. I would say, okay. So slave, basically, because there is a straw man and you don't know that you are being defrauded of your identity. They say there are these companies that are helping you to get to catch the frauds. Even IRS say we're gonna catch the fraud people, and they send you these emails to make sure these companies the three bureaus of you know credit bureaus are scam, total scam. They're all scams. But when we talk about when we are running around, running for a cheese and bread, there is not enough time to learn exactly what is going on. Even the people who are generations in this country. I'm not so many generations in this country. You can count me on one hand, but there are people who are more than one hand generation, count my fingers generations. Some, two hands, generations of my fingers. Some even more. But what they have done is to block your eyes and you believe a certain way and you don't know how to break free. I tell you what, it is possible, break free. I'll tell you, this is a beneficiary sovereign court. Okay? Ask any question. I will answer you by God's grace if I can and when I have time because the war is real. There is nowhere to go. The people that lie to us, we catch thieves. But who even is a real thief? Because thieves most of the time steal petty stuff. People who steal humongous things like people's real estate, homes, buildings, cars, money, businesses, they are the ones who are conglomerates, who are established. They have all the tools, all the techniques, all the, technical know-how to steal from you, and that's the government. I know it's very strange to some people, but it's true. It is true. If I'm the first person that you've heard from, start your job to free yourself. Freedom is for everybody, and the grace was given already to do so. So I just want to share a verse in from the Bible, and we really thank God for this moment. And God is gracious. He brings more technology for us to be able to share across the globe so that everybody can receive as much as possible, but still people are restricted because some countries are all like way awful, like too much of these ones are much, they are too much, but the other ones are way too much because they'll block every kind of knowledge from their people to know the truth. And you wonder what some people have in their obolongatas. Anywho, we thank God really. Let me share Psalms 91, verse 13. I'm not going to read it perfectly exactly the way it is, but in the verse, God saying He has given us power to trample over snakes and scorpions. No, to trample over uh, snake and lion and man lion and Asian snake, something like that. So, excuse me. So, grab it yourself and read it again. Be empowered because God has given us power. Okay. Again, it's Psalms 91 or Psalm 91, that's the chapter and verse 13. So read it and see what you get and how God speaks to your heart and be strengthened. In Jesus' mighty name, our Lord and Savior, you have a great evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And another video will be sent out if they do not block it because they are all under the entity. So they want us to speak minimal or not even anything. They'll protect their bosses who give them the bread and cheese and little sense to that. But the life we are living is real and we have to step up. Blessings to all our men, our male people, brothers, fathers, grandpas, uncles, and blessings to all the females. Um, God bless you. God bless you for staying strong, for the work you do, the support you give to our male family members, friends, and neighbors. May God bless you all. See you soon.